Any chance that Lucas is gonna take your advice?
Well, it would suck if he didn't.
I
I don't.
Hi, Hearties. Welcome back to Heart to Hearties. We are the official podcast for the fandom of When Calls the Heart. We bring your questions direct to the cast and crew. I'm Jeanette from Michigan.
I'm Marg from California.
And I'm Dawn from North Carolina.
I'm Kavan from Vancouver.
Welcome, Kavan. You've been with us since season 2, and we feel like after all these seasons, we're getting to know you even more after all these years. And we love seeing you as the mayor, the girl dad, the builder of big dreams. We love that. I love that. So welcome. Let me give you a proper Mr. Kavan Smith. We got to give you our fake applause. So it's great to see you. How have you been? How's the off season treating you? Keeping busy?
It's really good. I'm really happy to be here. Like I said, you guys are the one shop that I'm happy to go to anytime. But when the season's over and we go into the hiatus, there's always, going back a few years, quite a few years now, Pascale and I mean, as an actor, when you're not working, you're looking for work, and that's the grind and that's the hustle. But one of the luxuries you have with going for quite a few years now is that you don't really have to. It's not the kind of show where we're all driving Bentleys or anything, but if you go long enough and you're financially responsible, you don't necessarily have to run around and try and just keep getting work. So it opened up the doors for me a few years ago to write, because I've always liked writing. I've always been quite bookish. After I think it was maybe season 9 or 10, I was just like, maybe I should take another stab at that writing thing. But you do realize fairly early on as an actor, unless you're that 1% of 1% of 1% and you're Brad Pitt or George Clooney or Daniel Day-Lewis, it's not always what you think it's going to be. The business is a job, and you learn fairly early on, or at least I did, that creative control, or not even control, but you're getting to express yourself artistically isn't generally what happens. You get moments here and there. Some scripts, like in our show, for example, you'll go 2 or 3 episodes where you won't really get much at all, just a few lines here and there. It's hard to get that creativity out. I mean, I started in theater school with the intention of being, I don't know, it sounds cheesy, but I guess an artist. So with the writing, I was like, well, I would like to go back to that, because that's the one thing that's kind of missing. And so when you ask how was the off season, for me now, that means I just go right back to writing, and I love it. It's something that takes discipline, and I do it every day, and I am getting a little bit better at it, and I find it super fulfilling. A side story, funny story. So I told my wife once, when I started into the writing thing, and I was like, hey, how would you feel if thinking that of course she's going to be supportive. My wife, she's always been supportive, and I'm supportive
Of course.
that's just how marriages go. And I was like, how would you feel if when calls is over, I just called it an acting career and started to be a writer? And there was this pause. And she just kind of looked at me like, can I get back to you on that? And I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that at all. She came around the next day and she's like, yeah, of course, if that's what you want to do, we'll make it work. So I'm still not sure that that's what I am trying to do for a living, but I am getting to write, and it is a really great creative outlet. And all those years of reading it's very informative, because I didn't study English at university or anything like that. So,
Right.
Yeah, anyway, that's basically what I do. I like to write, and I get to hang out with my family and stuff. Pascale and I, it's so funny because I'll reach out once in a while, because I'm quite insular. And I kind of just, when the show's over, I kind of just go over here and do my own thing. And every once in a while I'll reach out to her or to Chris or to whoever, and we'll go have a coffee or whatever and talk. But it's really funny when she reaches out all the time. Like she's texting me like every week and say, "Coffee this week? Are we good?" I'm like, she must be really bored if she's reaching out to me every week for coffee. So I just came from coffee with her just down the street just
Oh,
before this. So
Oh,
Chris and Pascal and I all went for
oh,
a
nice.
nice little coffee and lunch, and we saw each other the week before, and then the week before
Nice.
that,
oh
and
my
so
gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of visits this year, and then we've
Yeah.
done some pressy stuff like the Kansas City thing that was
Right.
on, and we got a thing we're doing this weekend. I'm not sure I'm allowed to speak on that, so I'll keep that to myself. But
Okay.
we're all doing something this weekend, and then got another pressy thing we're doing in March. I don't know if that's been released or not. So uh, yeah, it's just been
We don't
kind
tell
of
anyone. We are
yeah. Believe me,
tight-lipped.
nobody tells
Megaphone.
me anything.
Megaphone.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Jeanette,
Oh, I did want to mention one of your rare social media posts that I in the off season that I enjoyed was when I think you were in Banff and you ran into a Hardy.
Yes, that was really
Yeah.
interesting. I had had my mom come out and have Christmas with us. My mom and her husband came this year. And so I was walking my mom out the door, and my mom watches the show, and she knows that I'm kind of like, I don't love talking about kind of stuff. It's just not my jam. And so she never asks me about it or says anything about it or talks to me about her friends or watching it or anything. And so she's never been around me when a fan says something. So
Yeah.
I was walking her out the door. Her cab was coming to pick her and her husband up, and we're walking down the stairs, and this woman just reaches out. She goes, "Oh my God!" And my mom was just like, "Oh no, what?" And I'm like, "Oh no, oh no." So awkward. And then we're just walking down, and I guess I'm like, "Well, here we are." And this woman was like, "Are you who I think you are?" And I'm like, "It might be. Who is it you think I am, actually?" And then she goes, "Oh,
Brad Pitt.
yeah, no, unfortunately not. But it was, she's like, I know everything about you. I know everything about your show." And my mom just kind of got right into it. My mom's like, "Give me your phone. I'll take a picture of you." And so my mom started taking pictures for her.
Oh,
And I talked to this lady. There was a lot going on, so I missed the name. And I'm not good with names at the best of times. But she told me her name, and she told me the story. She was just like, she was quite heartfelt about it all. And
Mm.
she said uh, that our show got her and her family through COVID, which was really something. And she was moved by it, it was neat for my mom to be there for that. And so it took a moment, and unfortunately, I did miss her name, so I posted it, hoping that maybe she'd see it if she ever got to her. But and then another weird little thing is when we were all flying to Kansas City. So there was myself, Pascal, Viv, Chris, and Kevin. And we were all sitting very close to one another, kind of across aisles and stuff like this. And I was sitting beside this lady, and she was reading a book. So we started talking about books. I can talk about books all day. And then after a while, she's a very nice lady. And she's like, "Your voice is very familiar. Would I know your voice?" I'm like, "I don't know. I really don't know. I'm an actor by trade, and so it could be." She goes, "You sound like this guy who's on When Calls the Heart." And I was like, "Well, funny you should mention that, because I actually am." And so
Oh
was
no.
she and him and him and him and him. She was like, "What?" So that was kind of fun. That was
So
fun.
good.
do we understand that you and Pascal flew to LA to talk to the writers before the season? And how
As
did
as
that go?
yeah, as a matter of fact, we did. Well, it is an interesting position on the show because we've been going for a long time, and it's almost, I won't say allowed, it's certainly not encouraged, but it's almost to be expected that the actors would like to talk to the writers as much as possible and have some influence. I don't think they love
Sure.
it. I don't think they love it, but I think they kind of expect that we've created these characters over a long period of time, and the showrunners and writers kind of come and go over time, and we sort of know the characters best.
Yes, of
So
course.
so we do like to try and when Joy came on, we wanted to, Pascal and I in particular, wanted to go down there, and we were gonna see Ben and Aaron as well when we were there. So we just figured, well, let's go down and let's go to the writers' room, and we brought some pastries with us, and we sat down and we talked. We sat with them for probably the better part of an hour, and we'd come up with some ideas of our own, and we pitched them, and they were receptive, but their ideas were better. So yeah, I was glad because I sometimes, the best ideas are the ones that we come up with, and it's not really our job. So, but these guys had some really nice ideas, and it was a good meeting. We walked away really encouraged, and we paid for it ourselves. It was our own dime to go down and try and. I think it's good for the writers sometimes to not just go to set and be on set and see what our strengths are as actors. Like sometimes people are good at one thing and not another, and what your dynamic is like on set, what the set is like, what the rooms are like, how big or small they are. But I think sometimes to sit with the writers, kind of all of them, and then just talk and laugh and
Yes.
exchange stories and stuff. Then they get to see a bit of who you are, because ultimately, I think anyway, you're trying to illustrate the character through your own experience. You're kind of filtering it through what you are, and so if they get a better sense of what you are, it can, just informs that characterization even more. So
Of course.
that's kind of why we went, and it's also kind of when you're in the middle of the season and you get a scene that you hate or that doesn't make sense, or you remember from 4 years ago you did a scene where you said the exact opposite. It's good that you can call and not say, hey, can I talk to the writer, but you're like, hey, Joey, can I talk to you for 5 seconds, and then you have some familiarity.
Whatever discussions there were, we just were kind of obsessed with Lee's storyline this year. And so I feel like it was it must have been a fruitful conversation.
I think it really was. Like I think not to certainly not going to complain, because when you go for this long and you got this many characters, you kind of got to take what you can get.
Exactly. Yes.
And then when you get something good, you just gotta try and hit it out of the park and hope that the work speaks for itself. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I won't. I'm not too proud to admit that in a few previous seasons I was like, man, I feel like I was underused. I feel like I could have
Yes.
done something more here or explain more of this. And so when they told me what their ideas were, I was super excited. I thought, okay, well, this actually ties a bunch of this really kind of helps Lee tie in a lot of the stories that are so loose over the last few years.
Right.
Totally.
Kind of tie it up, and now I feel like,
Totally.
okay, we're going somewhere. Now we're getting to be Lee again, and because I don't love just being sort of like window dressing. I want it to be. I get everybody has to have their things, but we've sort of set Lee up to be one thing over these previous many years, and then suddenly you're not finishing that. So I was super excited, and I think that I'm cautiously optimistic moving forward. I hope there's not a big fallback. I felt for myself anyway that I had some great stuff this year, and I thought that I worked really hard on it, and I thought that I was happy with what came my way. So I hope
Yeah.
I didn't screw
Well,
it
the
up.
So good.
the idea that you and Pascal went in your own volition, I'm like, that to me paints, it's like passion.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you are really passionate about our favorite show. I mean,
right.
it's just heartwarming for me. I'm so glad that you had, and because what we're dealing with Lee this year, I mean, man, everything is amped and just more, it's a more rich
Yeah,
Lee that
yeah,
we've not had before. I
yeah.
mean, it's all good, all good.
Yeah, no, I think that had I known, I would have flown down every year.
Of course.
So I'm
Oh
already booking
God.
my flight for this
I
season.
bet. I
As
bet.
soon as the,
Yeah,
as the
right.
writers' room
Exactly
opens,
right.
I'm going
Well,
in.
Ah, that's
we
funny.
talked to Natasha and she said the same kind of thing that she went in with her notes and that she hardly had to say anything.
Yeah.
They so completely understood and delved into her character like she felt like that Minnie was really understood. So I kudos to the writers too for all of that. But Hardee's have been just as you're talking about the tying of together, Hardee's have been vocal for some time about the absence of Coulter lumber. They really wanted to see
Yeah.
Lee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
And Mary Ellen Moore of Pennsylvania wonders what it was like for you, whether it was exciting, the idea of building things, and what acting choices you made this year to like imbue that idea with meaning.
Well, that was one of the things that they told me in that meeting. They did say that Lee is going to take on the task of the rebuild after the fire, and I was like, because I've been saying like for years, the one thing we haven't visited, we've talked about trees, we've talked about things, but it's like he's completely let the lumber business go. So I think as far as an actor doing this stuff, I just felt excited. It turned me on again to the idea of it's one thing to have all these job titles, but when you don't flush them out at all, it's just like a bookmark. It's like, okay, he's the this and he's the this and he's the this and then he's this, but you don't know how he does those things. Is he a good mayor? Is he a good boss? Does he, how is he with Goldie and Rosie and it's a there's a or the Gwen character especially. I mean, that was for me, not to jump ahead. I thought, the lumber thing was big for me. I'm not going to let that question die. It was a really, like, I would say 4 or 5 seasons I've been saying to nobody in particular, do we own this lumber mill anymore? And do they do anything anymore? Like, I think that lumber site that we have, I don't think I've shot there in many years.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
so I was really excited to do that, to pitch, to be able to, for Lee to be able to pitch that to the town, to want so much to make, not just fix something and be involved in fixing something, but kind of to make amends for how personally he took everything in the very beginning, and just about the town, or pardon me, the Goldie National Park, and what he'd kind of lost personally, blaming it on McGinty, and I liked that Lee went sort of angry. He got kind of pissed because we all do.
Hmm.
Everybody, no one's perfect, and Lee, although I've tried over years to play him sort of like Teflon, I've always wanted Lee to be just like, because he
Yeah.
has to be married to Rosemary. You gotta be Teflon.
Yeah.
And so I definitely mindfully set up to create that character, but to actually get some stuff wrong, and to be fallible, and to end up in jail, and it was really great. But just to echo back to the lumber mill, it was definitely something that I missed too. I've been noting it for years, and I've been saying to anybody that'll listen, but so to tie that back in, and again, it wasn't just like, oh well, there's Lee in the lumber mill now and signing some order sheets and buying some wood. It
Right.
was like tying it together, like
Mhm.
that part I really liked. I thought the writing team did that amazingly for a lot of characters this year. Really sort of tied everybody back together, kind of the sinew of what our town was always supposed to be. And then to go back to what I like to talk about is the Gwen character, and how they pitched that in the meeting too. And that was the storyline that really stuck with me. They were like, Lee is going to mentor this little girl who's lost her mom, and they're going to really bond over the course of the season. And I I just thought, oh my God, I'm a dad and I love that. I'm a sucker for kids. And I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be great. I wonder who they're going to get. I hope they don't get some crappy kid that can't, you know, as selfish as you can be. And then I got to meet Alex, and I was like, whoa, okay,
Mm.
this kid is very present, fearless. And I've told this story already. I'll tell it again. It's a good story. Erin played a practical joke on Alex on her first day, and there was about I don't know, 15 or 20 old sodbuster actors sitting around and in our chairs. And Aaron's like, "Hey, so Alex, nice to meet you. Just so you know, on all of ours first day, everybody has to get up and sing a song." And Alex, without skipping a beat, jumped out of her chair and she's like, "What do you want me to sing? What do you want me to sing? I'll sing it. Anything you want. What do you want? Wicked? I'll sing Wicked." And then just ran and sang this ballad from Wicked in front of all of us and was great. And I was like, where did you get that courage?
Yeah. Yeah.
What life have you led that you are fearless like that? Um, and it's an infectious kind of quality that she had. She enjoyed being there so much
Mm.
that she made it fun for me. Like I was just like, we started doing. I had her doing practical jokes the whole way through the thing. We caught on.
Terrible influence.
Oh, I know, it's so funny. Hair maker, but
Terrible
like, oh no,
influence.
he's turning into her another little Kavan. And then on top of the energy and the positivity she brought and the fun, and you can see the like how much she loves this. It reminded us all of being young theater students, or theater, yeah, students. And then you see the talent level, like the just that kid has
Through
got
the roof.
some serious skills, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
untapped. She's a theater kid and she's big and she's musical, but boy oh boy, she can kind of do anything you want her to do. It's remarkable. She's so talented. Peter, again, Dean, when we're sitting by the lake, he's like he doesn't really know her yet at this point, or
Right.
and then he gives her, and he very slowly and laboriously explains a note. He's like, "So what I'd like you to do," and she's like, "Okay, great." She does it, and then he's like, "Oh, you can take notes." So then he comes in and he gives her like 10 notes. Like literally, I'm like, "Yeah, you're getting a little carried away now." She nails it. Like every single note he gave her, she just
Wow.
killed it. First take.
Wow.
It's insane. Most actors fall apart with notes. A lot, well,
Mm.
not most, but a lot, because they just feel
Mm.
like it's criticized, I've done something
Yeah.
wrong, and they'll just tighten up. She was like, "Give me more. Give me more.
Wow.
What do you want me to do? I'll
Yeah.
do it all." It was just phenomenal.
Mm.
And then the heartfelt scenes, like her ability to, I didn't. There's a. Should I won't tell you what the scene is about. She and because I don't know if it's come out or not yet, but she does a scene, this very very heartwarming scene, teary scene, and she has this hat that she's wearing in most of these episodes, and it's a really cute period look, but the hat's ever so slightly too big, and it slides down over her eyes a lot. And in our business, you got to see the eyes. The eyes tell the story.
Right.
So we were shooting over Pascal and I's shoulder onto her coverage, onto Alex's coverage, and it's like, where does this kid? I mean, it's untapped. She's just born with talent, and but the hat's starting to slowly come down. So while I'm doing my off-camera notes to her, I was just like this, and I'm like, and she saw, so she took the note in while she's tearing up and pulls the hat up, doesn't skip a beat. There's guys and girls 40, 50 years in this business that would just like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Stop." In her, like, I think this was like her first series that she's ever been on, and then just that little note, she gets it, she moves it up, it stays in character, super powerful scene, and you're just like,
Wow. Wow.
what do you do? What do you do? Yeah.
So have you adopted her in real life now?
I tell you, she's a pretty great kid. I did suggest, like right out of the gate on day one, I called the writers and I'm like, the Coulters need to adopt this kid.
Yeah.
We
You're
need
definitely working way ahead in our chat.
Yeah.
Because we'll
But
circle back to that. Don't
Yes, we'll
worry.
get back to that. Yes.
Unbelievable. Well, you were talking about how Lee now, to me, it was 2D. Now you're more of a 4D character in this season because we are looking for more than a happy Lee. So Joy was talking about that your journey was really more of grief after the fire. So you're going grief to anger. And we've seen this season some outbursts for Lee. I mean, outside of Lucas, I don't know that Lee has ever been, that kind of anger that he's displayed. So it's just it to me it just stood out.
Yeah, I definitely I might be partly to blame for some of that Teflon quality of Lee's over the years, but I do like to play getting mad. When I got to get into Chris's grill before, it's fun. I think it stands out a bit more when you're Teflon for so many years because you have to
Yeah.
be because your wife is fried egg. You have to you gotta it when you then get angry, it jumps out way more. It's actually if you don't abuse it, it can be quite a powerful tool. So I enjoy it, and I thought it was really fun this year that Lee gets to. He's so upset, and he's in really grieving over the not just the loss. Like he takes the loss of the park, obviously, which is huge, but the neighboring town, his job as mayor. I think it's the first time we see cracks and the pressure, and it was really fun to play that. And so the Teflon isn't working, and he doesn't know what to do. Which is
Yeah.
really fun, really fun. More like you said, a few more D's in there for
Right, right.
2 to 3 to 4D. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then and I always talk when we talk with our writers about the male friendships. I
Mhm.
love them this year. I like the conversation that you have. We knew, and even we talked with Chris earlier this season.
Mhm.
You were talking about the friendship with Lee and Lucas was
Mhm.
always off camera. Like they didn't have a lot of conversation that was on screen that you could find out what that kind of friendship was.
Yeah.
But one of the scenes that was so interesting is with Viv and you in the church.
Yeah, that was a good
There's just
scene.
a lot of heartfelt, you know, moments.
Mhm.
So, can you tell us about that scene itself? Anything that kind of
Absolutely.
bubbles
When
out?
I everybody loves Viv. He's one of those universally loved people on set. He's just
We all raise your hand.
yeah. I
All
mean,
of us, yeah.
Fifth
he's
fan club right here.
yeah,
Yes.
That's right.
he's just this super affable guy, and everybody loves him. Great kids, great wife. I mean,
Seriously.
solid people. And he and I have been trying to push the idea of this friendship. It's sort of there. They kind of allude to it here and there through the last several years, but we always feel like not enough. Like we could push this a little bit further. And then I read that script first, and I texted him right away. I'm like, dude, we finally got something. It's really good. You're gonna love it. Text me when you read it. And he wrote back to me, and he's like, oh man, we're gonna kill this. Now, I would say this to Viv's face. So Viv sometimes doesn't know his lines like perfect. So I said, learn your lines or I'm going to steamroll you.
Oh, so
And
good.
he was very good natured about it. I was just joking around. I knew he was going to be great because he's got that gear. But it was when we shot it, we knew it was going to be good. I don't know that the director necessarily saw it like jumping off the page. I think she thought it'd be a nice little scene, but I think we expected more from it. So we came in ready and very simple, not a lot of camera moves. And when we got to the end, the director of photography, who was a friend of mine, Andrew, came out and he's like, "Where have these scenes been? Where have these scenes been? What do we have to do to get more of this? Because this is like a real deep scene. I mean, a guy is sitting there grieving because his kids might be culpable of something that is almost unforgivable, and another guy who's the one who lost it all, or not, obviously not the town events
Right,
counts,
right, right. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
lost the park and
His
was
dreams.
was so desperate to blame somebody for so long, and yet they're friends, and the weight of that, you just feel it in the camera move and the sit and then the quiet of the scene. And Viv has a very open quality about him as an actor. He's right there and he's available, and it was a great scene for us. I love those. I love the male camaraderie scenes too. I love the scenes with Chris this year. We have some really good ones between the two of us, where they explore that friendship. Like he and I are good friends, so it's nice that we're exploring that a bit on screen more this year. But Viv and I have been waiting for quite a few years to have something like that. We want more, but when that aired, Pascal texted me immediately and said, "By far, best scene of the show." And I was just like, "Oh, thanks. That was really sweet."
Yeah.
Because I would have
What was
bet
it?
$1,000 that her favorite scene of the show would have included her.
Her. No, it was so good. What was the line about Grace?
Oh yeah,
Mercy.
yeah.
It's
See,
Mercy,
Mercy.
mercy matters most when it's most needed. No,
when it's
when
hardest to
Hardest to
give.
give. That
yes,
was
when it's
it.
harder to give. That is a good line.
Really good
I
line.
Yeah, I need to have a t-shirt or just a
Yeah, we
plaque,
do. No, I
for me.
agree. I think it's a good, yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, it's a
Mercy
sentiment.
means the most when it's the hardest to give.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
great line. I
yeah.
would love to say we improvised it, but nope, that is all the writers. That is all the writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so rich. And that's the reason why I think and I'm just for my perspective, um I think this season has been it was a roller coaster, and yet it's the pacing is really good. So
Hmm.
you go to the whole episode, and then you're reflecting on it. I was just like, wow, I didn't realize that all of that was done in one episode. There was
Hmm.
just a lot to do, but you don't feel the rush. So between you guys and the editors, the writer, I mean, it's just well-oiled machine at this point. But
I'm not a
so
hundred percent sure. I would say it's a well-oiled machine because I'm there all the time, and I see all the bumps and hiccups
Yeah.
along the way. We're
I have
generally
I have blinders on.
Yeah, I know you guys are watching as viewers, but there's generally, I think, in most of our episodes this season, we were like 20 minutes over. So the
Oh,
Oh,
editors,
really?
yeah, the editors and the director of photography and everybody, they had to really put on their thinking
wow.
caps and get to work because I do think when you get a new writing team in place, they're always ambitious, you know. It's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
ambitious, and it takes a little while to learn the rhythm, and the cadence, and the
Yeah.
tone, but I for one think that this new writing team is exactly what we needed.
Yeah. Well, at 13 seasons, I mean,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
we needed to have some freshness,
yeah.
perspective. But
I think so too.
well,
And they also are very seasoned. So a lot of the writers are
yeah.
quite seasoned. So they've
Mhm.
they've done a lot of stuff, and they bring a certain amount of professionalism, and the way they employed story arcs this year was, I think, tighter than in previous years. Like
Oh,
everybody had
good.
a nice arc that was started somewhere, crescendoed, and then ended somewhere. Like it was,
Nice. Honestly, though, we've been doing this Heart to Hearties. This is our third showrunner, and every team has overwritten. So I just think it's the
yeah,
nature. I think
yeah,
it's the nature of this huge ensemble. It's a massive undertaking to write for this
yes,
big of a team. You know, I think it's really tough.
yeah.
42 minutes is an absurd amount of time to try to squeeze
Well, in
all
12
these
episodes,
stories.
so we
Yeah,
need to
stories.
like elongate this.
Yeah.
I've been trying for so many
I
We
know.
know.
I was gonna say,
episodes.
We're with
don't
you.
get
We've
him
been with
started.
you.
He'll
Yeah, I
go.
have been trying because it doesn't make any sense to me. I know we're a top-heavy show because we've been going for so long. I do know that because we have a lot of cast members, the bulk of the budget goes there. I get it, but if the show is still doing well, you're still bringing in advertising revenue for the show itself. So I've never quite understood the pushback on the more episodes. It just makes sense to me, but what do I
Yeah.
know?
Me neither. Me neither.
Yeah.
Well, another conversation that you had outside of Viv was the apology to McGinty.
Yeah.
And so, like, how was it to have screen partner with Dr. Socks?
It was interesting. I mean, the McGinty character, I have known Kevin for quite a while as an actor. Not well, never well, but I've always just seen him around, and you know, I thought he was great as the McGinty
Great.
character. Like he just embodied that
Oh,
character completely.
Totally.
definitely.
I didn't see the turn. Like I didn't know where that was gonna end and what his culpability was or wasn't. I had no idea that that was the ending with Mr. Socks, but it
Doctor,
was
Dr.
yeah,
Dr.
Socks.
doctor.
Socks.
Sorry, doctor.
Gonna
My
say,
goodness,
if you
I
don't
can't
know the
forget about that
character name,
education.
come
We
My
on.
God,
worked hard for that
those
degree.
7 years of university. Yes. No, I was I thought he was really great for the character. I thought having to apologize was great because I do think that art that's one of the things that our show is supposed to be about is about community, obviously everybody coming together, but you know the fact that we're all human, we all make mistakes, and we all move on, and so Lee got this one wrong. He kind of made a putz of himself in some ways, and he apologized for it. You know, it was a fun one to do. I did not see that happening with the kitten, and I thought it was a really cute way to do it. When we did it, the way that they'd rigged it in the basket to come out, I was like, this is never gonna work. This is the most I've done tons of these things with over the years, animals, and this never works. We're gonna be here forever. They got to get an animatronic cat. That's the only way this is gonna work.
So what
And
about
then
a raccoon? That would
yeah,
be
or
okay.
something. Yeah, but literally, the first take, the kitten just like, meow, meow, meow. I'm like, what? Where'd you get this cat? How can a kitten be trained this well? You
It
can't
was
train cats.
Alex's cat.
Yeah, yeah. It was very
Allie,
funny.
Allie, Allie Devereaux told us it was a very extensive casting process of this kitten that they got to.
Yeah.
True.
Oh
It's
my
True
goodness.
true.
story,
I
true
had
story.
no idea, but boy,
Yeah.
oh boy, it was a cute kitten.
Yeah, it was.
Casting has really been on it this year.
Yeah, they really nailed it with the wildlife.
The talent exudes. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Oh
funny.
my gosh, so funny. Oh goodness. Well, we've loved this season. You've touched on it already, seeing the dynamic between you and Rosie and Goldie and our new Gwen added to the
Mhm.
household. It's just been magical to watch unfold. And of course, you've both talked about all your affection and admiration for Alex, who plays her. Hardy Barbara Anderson of Massachusetts wonders if you ever worried about taking away from Goldie, having Gwen introduced to the into their home. I
That
thought that was
is
an
an
interesting.
that is a very interesting observation. I don't think you can take away from Goldie because Ellie just won't let you. You
Love
know,
that. Love it.
when that kid smiles, it's
Mm,
sunshine. It's really she's such a sweet, adorable kid. She's 3. She'll be 4 soon, I
yeah.
think. But
Right.
she's just a little kid. So
Yeah.
I don't think anybody thinks that she's being, you know, overshadowed or anything. But the
Mhm.
fact is that Alex is 14 and
Yeah.
turning 15 soon, I think. And, you know, an actor, like
Yeah.
she's a thespian and it's a bit different. So,
Yeah.
and the other thing
Mm.
that I will say this, she when you're working with a kid or a cat, it's you kind of as actors you can't just get stuck in what you're gonna do and like well the cat's the cat and they'll have to figure out the cat thing. I'm gonna do my thing. I've decided I'm gonna play it this way and this is what we're doing. Or if you know if one day Ellie doesn't want to be held, well I'm just gonna stay here until that 3-year-old kid learns to do her
Mm.
job and
Right.
it doesn't work that way. You gotta be able to move and to adapt. And if we're running out of light and the kid won't do this, well, you bend down and you do it down here, and you move and you do whatever
Yeah.
you can to make it work.
Mhm.
And from day one, Alex was right in there with us with Ellie. Like, just, I'll do it. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to make faces to her while you're off camera? Do you want me to run over here, hold her hand, like run her out here? And I was just like,
Oh, nice.
again,
Yeah.
where do you get this kind of confidence? I'm
Yeah.
50, almost 56, and I don't have any of this kind of confidence. Like, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
it was, but the dynamic in the Coulter family has always been, my bread and butter for the show. Those are my favorite scenes still, even with Pascale. Like, there was a lot of great scenes this year for Lee, and still, I would say probably my favorite one ultimately was probably Lee and Rosie in the jail cell. Just the simplicity of it. We talked about that afterwards because it was just it just sort of hung in the air by itself. And again, another one on the page that you're like, yeah, it's fine. It's a good scene. I'm sure we can do a good job of it. But when we're in there and you're doing it, we both said as we walked out, and I think Pascale mentioned it first, so I'll give her credit for that. She's like, we couldn't have done this scene a few years ago. You have to live with each other for a long time before you can have that kind of an intimacy, because none of it was forced. Like, we weren't trying to be intimate. It was just you buy their intimacy because you buy the friendship, and it's easy for us to buy because of our friendship. Like, we built this over years together, and we kind of just sitting in the moment, not forcing anything. She brought Rosemary down a bit. I brought Lee up a little bit, and it was just kind of this great little meeting in the middle. And
Yeah.
I love those scenes. Yeah, those are still probably, and we talked about this last year. I forget which scene it was, but we walked down. She goes, "Those are my favorite scenes. Just you and me. Just you and me. Something simple where we just get to talk to one another." I'm like, I love
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and back to the Ellie and Goldie, you just give her a puddle jumping scene and no one can take their eyes off her because she's so
Yeah.
precious. So,
Yes.
if
And
she's ever getting
yet to shoot it was a lot of work because she's 3 and we don't know
Right.
what she's gonna do. And sometimes we shot another scene inside, I think it was the Coulter house, and yeah, obviously it would have been the Coulter house, and we're shooting outside the door, and every time she was in my arms and we're about to do a take, and she's great. As soon as they yell action, she jumps out of my arms and runs into the field across the street. It's like, oh boy, I guess she doesn't want to play today. But we never get frustrated because her parents are great, she's great, and we just roll with it. This is what working with a 3-year-old is. But Alex is just right in there with her. She'd run out in the field and go get her and bring her back in. But then when we went to shoot the puddle jumping scene, like, okay, I don't know. She doesn't seem like she wants to play today, so this may not go well. So all they did is, which I think is the way to go with kids, is like they set up a shot and they're like, you guys just start way down there, run up here, jump in the puddles, go wherever you want, do whatever works. And so we kind of had to show her a few times. But what 3-year-old doesn't love jumping in puddles? So eventually
Exactly.
she's just like, oh my God. And then she's right in there. And by the time we were finished that scene, we were all soaked. So what you actually see is a very small amount of
Mild version of that.
very mild version of what actually happened on the day.
Too fun. Well, I think you already said this once, but we have talked to Pascale, and Pascale was also very clear that she also hopes Gwen sticks around with the Coulters.
Yeah.
And I think she might have said adoption too, which is an interesting concept since, we know Gwen has a father. So we actually had a hearty Anna Borges of Brazil ask, so if that doesn't happen, how do you imagine your characters would deal with Gwen's absence then? And then that family dynamic shifts back a little bit too. I know.
I think it'll be a big loss. Both on screen and off. So, like I said, on day one, I called Joanne. I was like, we got to adopt this kid. She's great. She'd be great for the show. And she loves being here. You don't always get that mix. Like a kid that's the right age, the right look, tons of talent, and actually just loves being there. I'm like, we got to stoke this. And didn't get a lot of what I was looking for there. So then I'm like, well, I'm going to reach out to Aaron, and I'm going to like, can you push this along? I'm telling you, this kid is great. And, but there's a lot going on. Once we're shooting,
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
make that big a
Yeah.
shift. They've
No.
already established that she has a dad, and I'm like, it'd be pretty bad to have him,
Yeah.
hung up for infection and then kill the guy.
I know this.
I
I
was
was
gonna
just
say
thinking.
this
Yeah.
poor father off screen that we've never met. We may
Exactly.
not, we may never know ye, sir. Sorry.
Exactly.
No, ye.
What I was able to squeeze out of them both was that as the season wore on and everybody was like, oh my God, okay, this kid is fantastic. Every scene she's in, she's killing. They're like, we're gonna find a way to bring her back. We don't, they kiboshed the adoption thing, I think, because it's too morbid. But I do think they're gonna really try to bring her back. But this kid is already taking off. I don't know that she can.
Wow.
I don't know if she can be
She may
got
not be
Oh,
back.
available.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
But
That's a great point. Yeah.
I happen to know for a fact that she's in extremely high demand. So
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Wow.
Believe it.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Lee Coulter is also in high demand around Hope Valley. He's had many jobs for a long time, and we
yep,
saw him succumb to the stress
yeah,
this year.
yeah.
Caroline Walsh of Indiana asks, is Lee a cautionary tale, or is there a lesson to take away from him, you
Oh.
think?
Well, I will say this. I don't deal with stress all that well in my own personal life. So I think Lee has a habit of burying things
Yeah.
and doesn't. That's why we haven't seen that much. So it's new this year for him. It's just too much stress, and he had nowhere to put it, no mechanism to handle the stress, and stress is a killer. I think stress is one of
Yes.
the most dangerous things we have out there in our society these days. I personally don't handle it all that well. I do the best I can. So I have all these different techniques. I do a lot of exercise. I do a lot of breathing techniques and things like that. But I have teenagers, and they don't care about
No, they don't.
stupid
No, they really don't.
techniques
Yeah.
or how much stress dad is
No.
under, that they're aging him algebraically. So it's I thought it was really cool that they initially it's so ironic. I pitched a heart attack, and they're like, no, too crazy. And they'd already had the idea of this panic attack, and I was just like, it's close, like it's pretty close. And the way Peter wanted to shoot it, it was fun. I'm like, great, you could. So I'm gonna do it like this, and I want it to be a bit more of this instead of you like. I'm like, great, love it. I don't really want to do that anyway. So I feel it was real. Like ultimately,
Yes.
I think everybody deals with stress. Every single one of us has stress about something, whatever sets you off, and not many of us know how to manage it. So I do think, holding Lee up as a guy who seemingly doesn't feel stress about anything, takes everything in stride, is just Captain Teflon, and then you realize, okay, even Lee is stressed out of his mind here and has this full-on panic attack, and I just thought it was great. And the idea of pulling it back, dialing it back, go back to what matters the most, don't sweat the small stuff, which is ultimately, as you age, the most important lesson of all is just you gotta let the things go that don't matter. The sooner you can move on with that lesson in life, the better off you'll be. And Lee is starting to learn that.
Yeah. And kind of beautiful. The fishing metaphor hadn't really tied those things together, that all that buried emotion. And, I don't know if that, now I'm doing the Freudian dream
Good,
interpretation.
good. It's got you thinking.
They're bringing it up to the surface.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
bringing all
All
these
right.
ideas. I think it works. I buy it. Bringing all these different things to the surface. Yeah.
Well,
Sure.
speaking of teenagers, we really enjoyed the scene with Opal, the
Oh, yeah.
producing scene, hysterical. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Ava's been with us so long. How
Yeah.
much fun was it to film this silent movie episode, and in particular to see Ava?
Yeah, it was a blast. I like to sometimes when you're working with people, after you do 4 or 5 takes, it just kind of gets not flat, but you just kind of like, well, where's the thing? So I like to throw stuff in, and with Opal, it was so much fun because she was like right there with me. So sometimes I'd be like, instead of saying my line, I would snap my fingers and point at her, and then she had to know my line for me. So little things like that were super fun. And obviously, Pascal in her element as the
Of
director.
course.
Yeah, it was a really good
Just the
fit. It
looks
was
on your faces. It was so much fun. It
Well,
was
and
yeah,
I
it was
love
a
that I love that it isn't just a one-off with Opal either, because then we see it again in the next
right.
episode. And
Yeah.
when, Lee says, "Ah, there she is," like there's that immediate like familiarity with her process and the way she
yeah.
works, which is really
Yeah,
cool.
no, it was really good. I thought they really used Opal well this year,
Mhm.
and it's so interesting to see these kids go from. I mean, Ellie's only been with us for a couple of years, and Alex was just their first season, and she's 14. But we've had some of these kids since they were like just little
Yeah.
kids, like like Jada and everybody, just little teeny tiny kids when they were
Yeah.
on. Now they're grown adults with their own cars and their own boyfriends and girlfriends, and it's like, hey, your car is nicer than mine. What the heck? So,
Because they don't have a mortgage. There you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, they don't have a mortgage and they don't have any
No.
teenagers.
Right. That college tuition. Yeah, there you go.
Too funny.
That's funny. Well, one of the to me, more serious scenes that we've seen last week was when Lee, well, first of all, I love Lee in the classroom. That is
Yeah,
a
Totally.
great idea.
yeah, it was
And
fun.
dealing with, yeah, I love the whole blueprint, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
when Lee arrives with Jack's blueprints and Elizabeth is, surprised. It's like, is it? And then the idea that, even with Highland, so good tracing the doorway. I mean, that whole scene was just verklempt for that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but did you think that was a full circle moment like we did? But what did you see?
100%. It was fun. I didn't even remember that Jack Senior and Lee had built this thing together, or they'd been involved. It was so when I read that scene and I read the stage directions about putting out the plans, and she says, "Is that?" and I'm like, it got me too. I was kind of like, "Oh, that's so good." I'm
It
glad I,
is.
I'm
It
glad I get
was
to be
so
part
good.
of.
Wow.
I'm glad I get to be part of it because you had mentioned earlier about the male camaraderie. Because Jack and Lee were friends, they
Yes.
they they were buds, so that they remembered or saw that or thought about it and thought, okay, well, Lee's the guy who would have these plans, and it was a very heartfelt thing. And I also thought, just selfishly for Lee, being able to stand and in front of the kids and talk to them about what the process of building is. So it's just
Hmm.
one of these jobs, but it's not just bookmarked anymore. Now it's like I get to talk about. So this is what these you start with plans and an idea, and then you build. And it was just kind of like, well, you could see Lee's excitement about what he does. So it builds more D. You get 3, 4D, and it was really fun, and I did like the fact that they tied that in with Jack Senior. I thought that was pretty cool. And
Oh yeah.
I don't get a ton of scenes with Elizabeth, and I love working with Erin because she's one like much like Pascal. Erin will bounce anything back. Like you're not gonna catch her off guard. She may not like what you do, but she's not gonna just drop the ball. Like
Yeah.
she's a gamer. She's really good, and just some of her subtle choices are just fun. I regret that I don't get to do more stuff with her.
Mm. That was a great scene though. So
Yeah, it was
thank
a
you.
great scene.
That
It
was
was a good
awesome.
one. Yeah.
So you've been a great friend with Lucas and offering advice, encouraging him to pursue Edie.
Mhm.
And in this episode, you told him there's still time to be bold or decisive or with action.
Yeah.
Any chance that Lucas is going to take your advice?
Well, it would suck if he didn't.
I agree.
I don't see where the story goes if he doesn't.
And
Good. Woohoo!
done.
Those
Scene
two,
complete.
those two have a nice, a fiery thing going on. I always like when you get a love story where there's innuendo and miscommunications and misunderstandings mixed with, good moments and light moments, because it feels like that's pretty real. Like anybody who's courted, it generally is a mix of ups and downs and like, what are you
Yes.
talking about? I never said that. And like, you thought I did what? And sorry, you wore what? It's it's never, it's generally speaking never a Hallmark movie. There's a lot going on. And so I do like the fact that they don't always just dovetail perfectly. There's bumps and clunking and some clanking, and yet there's obviously still a spark between the two. So I for one think it's going to be. I would imagine that he's going to take Lee's advice, but I don't know. I don't
I'm
obviously.
hoping.
Joy and team didn't take any of my ideas at the meeting, and things worked out great.
True story.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I don't know
No,
what's going to
I
happen.
did like that whole telephone conversation.
Yeah.
That was really interesting. So, and
Which one?
Edie and Lucas.
Edie and Lucas.
Yes,
have
yeah.
this
Yeah,
Interacting,
that's
going
our
back and
last
forth over
episode.
each other. Yes.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I have a story about that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was
Do tell.
was that the first was that the first episode or second episode
For
with that conversation where they're going back and forth on the phone?
Oh, the
Oh
intercut.
no, I was thinking about
yeah.
I was
The
thinking of a
intercut,
scene
yeah.
where they're bantering back and forth, he's talking to
Different
me,
view.
she's talking.
Yes,
Okay.
you're in the
Yes.
saloon and they're outside hanging
Yeah.
hunting.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have one quick story about that scene. Sorry to flash back to the
Okay.
beginning.
That's
No, that's
okay.
I love it. Go ahead.
We
Okay.
love that scene.
So I pride myself on never throwing fits on set. Like I am not a fit throwing type of person. I get embarrassed for actors who do that. And generally if somebody on our show, it's so rare. But every once in a while, if somebody does have a bad day and something comes up, I'm like, oh, I can't even watch this. I have to leave. I can't watch somebody have a meltdown. But it was, I think our first episode, it might have been the second episode, but we're doing a scene and there was some bumpiness with improvisation, and they were wanting, okay, that's great, but we're gonna stick just to the script. And I've been improvising since day one.
Right?
And I'm like, okay. So I was
That
we're
cannot
doing
work.
this scene, and I wasn't changing much. I never change intention. I never change somebody else's line. I just try and make it more Lee. Sometimes, just little tiny tweaks. So I was doing my coverage of that scene with Chris, and we were interjecting with the Edie bit, and so I added I don't even know what it was. It was very minor, but it just smoothed out my transition. And so there was some whispering in between takes, and the director came over and he's like, "So, Kev, we're just gonna go back to the scripted line, just as scripted." And I was like, "Okay, why?" This is better. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna just stay as scripted. And I was like, okay. And then he kind of just looked at me, and I just waited, and Chris was watching me. He's like, oh my God, Kavan's gonna blow up. And I was like, not gonna blow up, but I put my hands on the table, and everybody's watching me. And I was like, this is gonna be a really long season if I'm not out of the improvise. So that was as blowing my top as I've had, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
All right, take a stand.
That's my one story about scenes with Chris. I don't like to deviate too much from the script at all, but I like to have the freedom in the moment.
Okay.
The flexibility, yeah.
Just
A little leeway.
Yeah, you gotta have
Leeway.
Yeah, leeway. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Just because otherwise things get tight and and you're like frozen in a performance and
Yes.
frozen in a line and you have to get it out just so every single time. You aim for word perfection, but you don't get hung up on it. And sometimes some of the best stuff comes like with Pascal and I, all the best stuff generally comes from us just yakking to each
Mm,
other, you know?
yeah.
So, oh, okay, I gotta take this liberty. So I tell my wife I love her all the time, like a lot, too much. And so in the earlier years of our Lee and Rosemary's courtship, I started throwing that in, and it confused the hell out of Pascal. The first time we're doing a scene, and a little scene at the end, and I give her a kiss, and we're kind of forehead to forehead, and I'm like, I love you so much. And her eyes just kind of went, oh my God, Kavan's falling in love with me. Oh my God, what do I do? And I was like, whoa, chill your jets, buddy. No. I do love you, but I am not in love with you. But so for the first couple of seasons
Oh
when I
my
would throw
gosh.
when I would throw that in, she always kind of gave me a little like, what is he doing? But now she rolls with it, and she'll throw it back at me now. But boy, the first few times she was like, "Oh no, he's in love with me."
There, he's great.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
Boundaries.
good.
Have some boundaries.
exactly,
So
exactly.
good, so good.
Oh,
Oh my
that's
goodness.
Hilarious.
funny. Oh,
Holy cow.
Well, it's so nice to talk to you at the end of the season because there's so much to talk about. And so this next question is a little loaded about the season. It says, if you had to name an MVP of the season so far, we'll say so far, who would it be? Would it be Alex or would it be someone else?
I don't think there's any question. I mean, I think Lee had a really good year. I think Lucas had some good stuff. Rosemary had some good stuff. Um, I think that there's a couple really terrific scenes that, like, I love the scene with Joseph. I love the scene in the jail. I love, uh, there's how many episodes have aired? What am I allowed to talk about?
9.
9.
Oh, okay, so I can't get to the end then. There's some really nice stuff coming up in between.
but afterwards, you could tell us.
I'll tell you everything afterwards. There's some great
Just
scenes
saying.
between Elizabeth and Nathan later on, and the kids have a nice romance. There's a lot of little stories that are terrific, and I know I've been blowing Alex's horn since I've started doing interviews for this season. Just think that a little kid coming out of nowhere from musical theater just comes in and just
Yeah.
crushes every scene in is just blew me away. And for me, it became like her and I built this camaraderie, which is a weird one. So you got to be, I'm a 55-year-old dude and she's a 14-year-old kid, and we were having a blast on set. So I'm always making sure that her mom is cool and we're like, it's all on the up and up and no weirdness.
Right.
But we had so much fun hanging out. Like we had a routine every day. The first thing in the morning, she and I would go and we'd look and see what the yogurt parfait of the day was, and or no, chia pudding. Every day we had
Ah.
chia puddings, and they changed the flavor every day, and that was part of our routine. And I used to bet her $1,000 on everything I could think of. Like, I'll give you $1,000 if you go up to the director and you call him a douche. And she's like, can't do that. I'm like, yeah, you can. I'll bet you what. I'll give you
Oh my God.
$1,000. Yeah, I'll give you $1,000 if you jump up in the middle of this scene and say, I hate this show, and then storm off. And I'm like, $1,000 is $1,000. So we had,
I could
yeah,
do that.
yeah, yeah. But she didn't. She always took the high road and always took the professional choice. But for me, that kid was that kid brought new life to Lee. I love the storyline. Like even apart from just how
Mhm.
good she was and what a great kid she was off camera, just the storyline I thought was nice. It was so good for Lee to. I don't know. Just I love working with. I like kids. I like talking to kids, not like kids. Like I think there's
Yeah,
something
Right.
kind of
yeah.
cool in
Yeah.
that, and so it was. Yeah, I don't. For me personally, I don't think it's really close. I think that it was
Yeah.
Alex's
Well, it's
season.
interesting that you did a lot of stuff outside of the scenes itself because it translates. you see that you are close and you can, outside of just a nod or, just not the physicality, just being together. You
Hmm.
can see the connection
I said, I
on
definitely
screen.
set it up in the beginning. I'm conscious of that as an actor, as a grown up actor. Been doing this for a long time. I do know there are certain tricks you can kind of do to try and get a more real performance and more
Nice.
in the moment kind of thing. And so it maybe started like that on the first couple of days we worked together, trying to get her involved in a little nudge or a little
Sure.
joke before we shoot something, but you never know if the kid can handle that or get flummoxed by it, or if they can play. And this kid could
Hmm.
just play, and it went from being a tactic to try and get a real nice performance, a real performance, to like, well, okay, well, this is the dynamic. This kid and I like to joke around and have fun. She just so game. There's Pascal felt the same way too. um, to see the job through the eyes of a young person with
Mm.
so much sincerity and joy for this job, it kind of just reminds you and rekindles something in you that you kind of like, oh man, this kid is loving this so much. She likes being here so much. You can tell. It's infectious. And,
Mm.
her mom was always like, oh, she's having the time of her life. She's just having a ball and she's so happy. And I, I, I took mom aside quite early on and I was like, listen, you need to be prepared because she could very easily take off and you'll have some decisions to make as a mom moving forward, how you want to play this. And she's such a great kid now. This business isn't famous for making great
Mhm.
kids into
Yeah,
great adults.
yeah,
So,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's
so
true.
Well, you've
Yeah.
yeah.
you've properly trained her in to be a mini Kavan and take her practical jokes to all the other sets that she goes
Yeah, maybe,
to.
maybe.
No, too good,
That's
too
so
good.
funny. I played a
Well,
great practical joke. I'm going to tell
um,
you what it is. It has nothing to do with Gwen Calls to the Heart, but Peter Benson is a director that
oh
I
yeah.
worked with. He
Yeah.
does, yeah, he does a bunch of Hallmark, and I was doing he
Mm.
asked me to, or the network asked me to do a cameo in a movie he was doing. And the lead actor, she was a really nice lady. I can't remember her name right now, but she was talking to me. She's like, so Peter, you've worked with him? Because he directed a few of the cowboy movies that I did. And so I was like, yeah, no, I know Peter quite well. And she goes, he's really smart. I'm like, yeah, he's very intelligent, which is saying something given what happened. And she goes like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, uh, have you not heard? And she's like, no, what do you mean? I'm like, well, actually, he was really smart before. Like, he had a very high IQ and a very promising career,
Oh,
but he got kicked in the head by a horse on the cowboy show I was doing. And she's like,
no.
what? I'm like, yeah, he got kicked in the head by a horse right in the middle of a scene that we were shooting. And his IQ plummeted. He's used to be.
Oh
And
no.
and I just kept going and she bought it. She completely believed it. And then at one point she goes up to him and I'm just kind of watching from, 40, 50 feet away. And she goes up to him. She goes, I'm so impressed, Peter. I'm so impressed. And he's like, what? She goes, well, after the accident and you're still directing. And he looks over at me and he's like, Kevin!
Oh my God. Oh
This is a
my
joke.
God.
We
Yeah,
need
you
the
needed to
side. We
decide.
need the side
Yes.
again.
Funny.
The things you do for
Well,
a laugh.
yeah,
Exactly.
you've always, yeah. Well, we're super excited to switch topics because you have another Nelly movie finally coming out March
Yeah,
14th. We're so excited. Is
very
there
excited.
anything you can tease for us about it's Detective, what was his last name again?
Michael
Hogan.
Hogan.
Hogan,
Yeah,
Detective Hogan.
yeah,
So
Michael Hogan.
what's he like
Like
and what?
Hogan's here.
I really enjoy. Obviously, this is a project that I took because of the co-star. And when I read the script, they offered it to us, and I read the script, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's perfect for Pascal!" Like it's like it is her wheelhouse, and I was just like, I will figure out Michael as we go. We're starting to come up with some more quirky traits, and it's this year we've been sitting on this, like, the network. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but we shot it last year, like
Yes.
almost a year
Pascale
ago.
told us
Yeah,
that.
so it's really been sitting there for a long time, and uh, we want to do more. We definitely like to do more. I've talked to the writers. I know they have, and the producers. I know they have other ideas and scripts ready to go. So I hope that I hope that the fans like it. It's really fun. If anybody out there likes the chemistry between Pascal and I think that they'll really enjoy it, because it's us just just having a ball. And one of the things is that it was quiet at that time of year when we shot it. There was not a whole lot of things happening, so we got to the pick of the litter as far as actors go. We really got some great talent on the show, and it's got this kind of Knives Out kind of vibe to it.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really fun way of shooting. We kind of did it almost all in one mansion, in one location, and some of the characters we got, it reminds me of like a game of Clue or something like that.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was really fun, and we got to flirt a little bit more, and like, no, because Lee and Rosemary are so situated in their marriage, which is a fun thing to play. It is really interesting as not young people to flirt again, and to have your,
Yeah.
to kind of, but just subtle flirting, just really just sort of scratching the surface of where, like, are we friends? Are we just friends, not friends? Is there more? Are we attracted to each other? What's going on here? But just to go back to the basics in that is really fun to play. And I think that the mystery in this one is really cool. And I mean, if anybody have seen the Knives Out kind of movies,
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
full of characters. And I think that what plays really strongly in this episode is that the characters we've got are also really strong and really bring a
Oh.
lot of dynamism to the show. So I think it's just, yes, there's Nellie and Michael and their dynamic, and the fun, and they're trying to solve the mystery, and Nellie's this quirky kook, and he's trying to rein her in and remind her that he's the cop and she's just helping out. And but then it's everybody else around us. All the other characters are so well developed and played by very capable actors. We just had a ball. Like, it was so fun. Everybody, I think, really enjoyed doing it. So I hope the fans
My
buy
gosh.
in, because I know we want to do more.
Well, I
Yeah.
am, and I love the Knives Out idea. I love well-drawn characters. I love flirty Kevin, like all that. That's all
Yeah.
good.
Flirty Kevin.
That's all good for me.
Yeah.
Come
But
on.
it's just been such a joy to see you have such a meaty storyline this season. If we were to vote, we might choose you as the MVP of the season. It's been a wonderful Win Calls the Heart year for Lee Coulter.
Well,
So
I was gonna say me too, but I thought I'd be diplomatic and just
Good for
say,
you.
just say,
we'll say it for
Passing it
you. We'll
on.
say it for you. No, I mean,
Thank
certainly
you.
a through line of the season. Just beautiful, beautiful.
I
So
appreciate
bravo.
it. I can only do what they give me. So I thank the writers this year for giving Lee some more depth, and I felt like I did a pretty good job with what I was given. So maybe moving forward there will be some more stuff for 14. That's
Yeah,
my hope.
let's look forward to
Oh,
more of
yeah.
that passion, more of that improvisation, all the things in season
All the
14.
things, all the things.
So,
Yes.
thank you to Hardee's. We want to see who you think has been the MVP and what your favorite moments were.
I got $1,000 for anybody that says but you
We
have
want to
to
hear from
post it.
you.
You got to post it, and then you got to put hashtag Hallmark so they all see it.
I
Cross
love
marketing,
it.
Yeah.
branding. I love it. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. All
Oh
right.
dear.
Cha-ching. All right, Hearties, subscribe so you don't miss a single chat, because how could you miss a gym like this? And we'll see you again for the remainder of the season. Just a few left. Hallmark Channel, 8 o'clock Eastern, and always tweeting with the hashtag Hearties. And we'll see you next time on Heart to Hearties.